a couple of weeks back. The new album is out now, and we're playing a couple of tracks from that. Also, I'm going to do 4 in a row from Wolf band O Emperor, who've just released their debut single on Universal Records, and it is an absolute cracker. The songs are top-notch, and there's an awful lot of excitement in the city about this band, and that this is the band who's going to break out and bring the focus onto Waterford, because, as you know, we have many fine bands in the city, and this will be their chance to shine. But O Emperor's music coming up a little bit later in the programme. A man who's seen it all and done it all and worn the t-shirts, probably designed them as well, as Pat McManus, and he's my guest in studio at the moment. Pat, you must look at the music scene now. Do you look, or do you pay attention to it, or do you have time to pay attention?
I do. I'm very aware of what's going on, you know, because you have to be, because I'm still making albums and stuff like that and project and putting it out there. But the whole emphasis, as far as I can see, has turned round now. It's not on. It's all about touring now.
Yeah.
It really has. And whereas the record companies used to say, you know, dictate the terms as to when a band would go out on tour because it would coincide with the release of the album, it's the other way around now.
Right.
You know, so I will say to them, I'm playing Paris tonight. If you are interested enough, you better have some CDs there.
Right.
You know, so that's the way it works now. It's not. It used to be the other way around, but it's actually now. I mean, anybody will tell you that you sell the bulk of your material at the gigs.
Yeah.
You know.
And also the way people buy music, there's that, and there's also all this downloading now.
Well, it's you know, but that's why I'm saying that's why I go down the road and take my CDs with me, because you know, the people, when they see it there, they'll actually pay and they get something for it. The other way is a bit impersonal, the whole thing, you know, and they don't really care about what information's on those albums and what they can glean information-wise from them.
I feel sorry for a lot of the youngsters today in many ways. With I mean, not kind of like mourn as such the death of vinyl or stuff, but back in the day when Mama's Boys were bringing out an album, or Thanizia, whoever the case may be, you had this whole story on the album sleeve, and you can't quite see that on the CD and certainly on the download. It's not quite the same.
Well, that's it. I imagined when Thin Lizzy brought out that Live and Dangerous album. I sat through every single song and I looked at every single picture, and I was sat through every single concert that I thought they played, and I envisaged the whole thing in my head. So my imagination was running wild.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
that's what it was. You know, and I think that's missing today in many ways. But it's the way of the world, I suppose. Do you find it much more difficult now from that point of view, or is it?
No, it's much more a cottage industry now.
Yeah.
You know, it really is much more a cottage industry. I'm talking to bands like Uriah Heep. We go out and play with them all the time.
They're still going, aren't they?
Oh, packing the places out. Packing. We did a place called the Z7 in Basel in Switzerland, and we sold it out between the two bands, completely lock, stock and barrel sold out. And they do huge business. I mean, 3,000 to 4,000 people every night, everywhere they go.
That's amazing. I didn't even know they were still on the road.
Going really strong, really strong. And they were just saying, you know, their big emphasis is getting the CDs, and you know, the bands will go down and meet and greet now. They'll be down at the back of the hall, say we'll be down in 5 minutes once we've towed off and come down off the show. And
it's amazing how times have changed.
Yes.
Whereas before, you'd be very lucky if you got your little backstage pass and you could meet the Pat McManuses of this world, but now they come up and meet and greet.
Yes.
Doing a Daniel O'Donnell.
Every one of them, because it's their livelihood,
yes.
You know, and it's turned round, you know, with the whole thing is sort of turned on its head, and it's much more, as I said, a cottage industry now. It's smaller, but you know, you can still do really well. It's the emphasis on the live work now, and that's where I spend most of my time out on the road now.
And you're a very busy man. We spoke about the tour a moment ago, but I mean, any time I hear of you, you're out on the road.
Yeah, but I'm just off to Corsica now to do a guitar festival out there in 10 days' time, and then we go to Monaco and do 3 nights there. You know, so it's a tough life, really.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody has to do it. You know.
How does the family life fit into all
well, you
of
see,
this?
when you see I'm playing places like Monaco, suddenly there's 2 extra tickets.
Yes, especially with the weather we've been having recently, you know.
So you know, we have a good time. The reason I do it at this pace and at this speed is because if I feel like bringing my family out, I can do it. You know.
You still love it, obviously.
I absolutely adore playing, and that is the #1 priority with me.
It shows every time. I mean, a few times I've seen you play. I mean, it's just.
I just really enjoy it. You know.
2 p.m. is the new album,
yes.
which we alluded to a little bit earlier on, a couple of months old, and it's doing well for you.
It's going really, really well. Yeah. It's going. I'm really surprised, and there's been a lot of interest in different countries generated because of that. You know, and believe it or not, Roddie, I hadn't really been touring. It's only in the last 2 years, seriously, I started to really go back at it again because you know, as I was saying earlier, you've got your kids and your family, and you've
Well,
got
you
to
got to get your priorities. I
Yes.
suppose.
So you know, and now it's I'm back out there doing it on a more, should we say?
Well, it's like going to university, you'll be out even touring more.
Oh yes, yes. My wife and I discussed that already. But to me, it's still fun, and I enjoy it, you know, and it's still an education to get to other countries and to meet other people like that. There, I always dream a little bit and learn something, you know. So
and I suppose they all refer back to the Mama's Boys thing. I mean, a lot of people
to be fair, I'd be telling lies if I didn't. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
You know, and I have no problem with that. But
That's
I'm also carving new
right,
fans. You know,
it's a compliment in its own right.
In its own right, I was surprised, you know, just at the amount of affection for the band. We never realised at the time that we actually did what we did.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you just no idea.
You're living in the moment.
Yes, you're living in the moment. You just have no idea. And it's only now I'm starting to realise, God, you know, it must have been all right. You know.
Can I ask you the question we asked before we came on air about a certain reunion?
It has been, well, actually, to be honest with you,
would it happen?
I'm not going to say it wouldn't happen.
Well, would you like it to happen? I know it's difficult with Tommy gone.
Yes, you know, I would find that really difficult. I suppose I would like it to happen, you know. But I mean, Classic Rock advertised it last Christmas for the Hard Rock Hell. People weren't aware of that, but they had it advertised and had us down with Wasp and Rat and all those bands, and it just wasn't going to happen. Not at that stage, you know. So you never, as they say, never say never.
Never say never. It'd be lovely to see it. I think even from just the nostalgia point of view, and just to get out there and maybe even as a tribute to Tommy. I suppose.
Well, maybe,
it'd be a nice way to do it.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to play a track from 2 p.m. and let you away, just to let people know you're playing down on Electric Avenue tonight, and it's a late gig. You're on about 1.
That's it.
Ish.
Yeah, 1-ish.
1-ish.
Yeah. Whenever I get the gear set up.
And that'll be what, for about an hour or so?
An hour and a half. Oh, once I get stoned, you can't get me stopped.
I know, I've seen you in action, and it's great. It's well worth it. Pat, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and thank you very much indeed for coming.
Not at all, Roddie. It's always a pleasure to come down here to you. Thank you very much indeed.
And always a pleasure to meet up with you as well. And I'm liking the 2 p.m. It goes on in the car every so often. So I'm going to play a track from it called Lucky Man. Any particular story on this song?
I think it's me just doing a little summary on my life, you know, and the priorities of life, really, you know. So,
Pat McManus, as always, great pleasure and safe journey to you when you're heading away.
Thanks a million, Rod. Thank you.
Nice one, Pat.
Thank